So I'm in a pickle because physically the iPhone 17 is quite different than the iPhone 16. The edges are a little rounder, it's a little thicker, and the camera lump now is massive. So I can automatically assume that a case that worked really well for the 16 is going to work really well for the 17. Don't take my word for it. There's a bunch of case companies that haven't even put their stuff out yet. So out of the top 15, top 20 cases, there's only 4 that I know I can get right now tonight. Number 4 goes to the Taurus stand case. I'll be honest with you, I do not like this case. But because I'm a reviewer, not an influencer, I'm going to talk about it anyways, because this thing does do well in my scoring. Now, between the iPhone 16 and iPhone 17 version, it got beefy. It is much thicker. The top of the case is a little flimsy for my liking. This case has flow-through buttons, but they're very round, and so they get lost on the edge of the case. Out of the 4 cases in this video, this one is the slickest. So if you drop your iPhone a lot, maybe not get this one. The back is frosted, so it'll show the color of your iPhone a tiny amount. And the corners are raised ever so slightly, so when you do this, it's not the back that's scratching. What's the biggest selling feature of the Taurus stand case? If you guessed it was the stand, I'm assuming you'd be correct. But this stand is a reason why I don't like the product, because this happens way too much. Now, I'm a big fan of MagSafe accessories, but having this happen coupled with the fact that the magnetic strength of the case is below average is something that I personally wouldn't want to deal with. For drop protection, this case utilizes airbags along the edge of the case. It's hard to tell, but the top and bottom of the cases are a little thicker than the sides. Overall, in my testing, this case will improve the protection of your iPhone about 20 to 25% better than your average slim case. The biggest reason why this case does so well in protection is that the initial impact is much lower than average. Now, if you don't want to fuss with MagSafe and have a case that actually feels pretty good, well, check out my number 3. Now, when it comes to iPhone cases, every single drop I do is measured onto an iPhone. I've got this massive ball of data that I can go poke through now, and that just lets me tell you guys more stuff than a box reading reviewer. My third recommended case is this thing, the Tech Woven case by Apple. From my perspective, Apple has had a terrible track record with cases. The clear is garbage, the fine woven was a train wreck, the leather case was okay, the beach case was a total disaster. The only case that was consistently decent was the silicone case. A little bit off topic, but this thing is actually tough for its size. That all changes with the Tech Woven case. Apple killed it with this product. Now, if you're tired of things feeling too smooth or that gummy soft rubber finish, you'll love the finish on the Tech Woven case. Now, if you're worried about the fabric, I did a bunch of scratch testing on it and it held up. The one thing I didn't find out in that video was that the finish on the edge of the case is actually just glued on. Your standard drop like so will be okay, but if for some reason your iPhone goes tumbling this way against a rough surface, it's going to tear the fabric. The buttons are metallic and they flow through the case. When it came to MagSafe strength, this thing was a hair better than the Taurus product at 8.7 newtons. So you can easily do this and not have to worry about it. Now, when it comes to protection, this case has 2mm thick corners. The silicone case was around 1.3. So it is quite a bit heftier than Apple's other cases, but it doesn't really feel like a bulky case. In fact, it's the thinnest case in this video. When it comes to drop protection, in my initial results, this case is going to be about 15% better than the average slim case. Only thing I worry about are the case edges. They are very shallow. So if you want an Apple product that feels amazing, just get the Tech Woven case on your way out after you pick up your iPhone 17. Now, as I said earlier, there are cases that should be in this top 5 list, but because the company hasn't released them yet for whatever reason, I'm not going to talk about them. The only thing I know for certain is that I'm going to do a proper top 5, top 10 video in about 2 months for the iPhone 17 cases. Number 2 is this guy. It's the Spigen Tough Armor. Last year's version, remember, was called the Spigen Tough Armor AI. Spigen apparently had to jump on the AI bandwagon, but for the iPhone 17s, they dropped the AI. I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. It looks identical. Now, with the iPhone 17 version, Spigen extended the polycarbonate shell in the back to encapsulate the entire camera area. It's going to protect your camera area a little better. Spigen also covers up part of the camera lump. Personally, I don't mind this. I prefer this only because I think dust and debris is going to get between the plastic and the phone. Now, the buttons on this case are very unique. They are not flow-through, they are pass-through buttons. There's no free moving piece here. And normally I would say that's lazy case design, but because these buttons are massive on the case, they really do help you locate where your fingers are on the phone. And the action button has a different finish, which I also very like because it's just easier to find to do whatever your action button does. The case has a bit of a soft rubber coating. The edge is chamfered quite a bit, so really don't feel the bulk of the case. One of the neat things is that this edge on the case is about as thick as your iPhone. Thought I'd point that out. The one thing I did notice with my iPhone 16 case was that the MagSafe area would suffer from friction marks. If I didn't point that out, could you see them from this distance? When it comes to magnetic strength, this thing was an absolute beast, pushing close to 11 newtons, which is way higher than average. When it comes to protection, the standout feature feature is all this yellow foam, specifically in the corners. I don't think the stuff in the back really does anything. Now, when it came to my drop tests, the corners actually took the hit better than the average multi-layered case. That's one of the biggest factors I use in determining how tough a case is. But because of the foam, this case just keeps bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, which means the phone shakes a lot more before it settles, which is bad for the iPhone. Overall, the Spigen Tough Armor is going to offer about 15% more protection than the average multi-layered case. Overall, this case isn't the slimmest one in my video, but it's not tanky. It's not going to pull pockets out. It's not going to be hard to manage. It's just a very sleek looking, tough case. Now, if you see something you like in this video, help me help you by getting the stuff through my links. I'm a reviewer, not an influencer. No one's paying me to make this video. So in order for me to keep doing what I do, which I absolutely love, you gotta help me by using my affiliate links. Thanks. So this is the #1 case. This one is. If you see my best accessories video, this isn't gonna be a surprise to you. Nor should it be a surprise to all the people who have been watching and following me for all these years. There are two things that's most changed between the iPhone 16 and iPhone 17 versions. Because of the giant camera hump, the top of the case now is way rigider. Makes sense. The camera button is baked right into the case, so it's not going anywhere, unlike the iPhone 16 version, as you can tell. For button access, mouse uses flow-through buttons, and they feel decent. Like when it comes to case design, it's really the small things. As you notice, there's a little bump right by the buttons. Kind of just helps your fingers find out where all the stuff is. Finish of the case is quite nice. It's very grippy, especially the side with the grip strips. Technically, this is the thickest case in this video, but the thickness only occurs at the tops and bottoms of the case as the center kind of tapers in. And this makes the case feel much thinner than it actually is. The back will come in a variety of different finishes, and it'll show wear and tear where the MagSafe magnets are. And speaking of the MagSafe magnets, they are a bit of a red flag for me because they're weaker by about a newt, which is significant. Good thing if it does drop, it's in a tough case. And speaking of protection, this case still employs a bunch of TPE in the corners, really shock absorbing stuff. I've noticed most really reducing the amount of green stuff they use in their cases. Like the 16s had a massive strip at the top, the new 17 case doesn't. I'm guessing that's why it's so rigid. Overall, when it comes to drop protection, this case is going to offer your iPhone 30 to 35% better protection than the average multi-layered case. So that's all I got for this video. Questions, comments, leave them, I don't know, down there. Again, if you're planning on getting one of these products, make sure you use my links. I'm a reviewer, not an influencer. Don't care which brand you go with. I just care that you get the best accessories for your tech. Thanks for watching.